Hey everybody, welcome to Camp Slash Horrorcast, where we talk horror movies from the past every Monday at 8 p.m. Central Time. I'm your head camp counselor, Duck. I'm here with other head camp counselors. We have Jay, so much stress for politeness sake, McClintock. Jay, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm good, man. I am well rested.
You want to pull out that lightsaber again and show it off for everyone?
Maybe later.
Beast mode, beast mode. Next, we got David. I mean, what do you think? You think they stand a chance? Jessup, David, how are you, sir?
I'm good, sir.
Excellent, excellent. And finally, we've got Isaac. Whether by knife or whether by gun, losing your life can sometimes be fun. Dog it. Isaac, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Doing excellent. Thank you for asking. We watched Funny Games. That's right. 2007, directed by Michael Haneke. I think that's how you say his name. Also written by him. This is a shot-by-shot remake of his 1997 film of the same name, Funny Games. Released date, March 14th, 2008 in the United States, with a running time of 111 minutes, budget $15 million, box office $8.2 million. Wah, wah, wah. Synopsis. When Anne, husband George, and son Georgie arrive at their holiday home, they are visited by a pair of polite and seemingly pleasant young men. Armed with deceptively sweet smiles and some golf clubs, they proceed to terrorize and torture the tight-knit clan, giving them until the next day to survive. I will show a tiny bit of the trailer because it pretty much gives away the whole movie. So, with that said, let's check out Rated R for Funny Games. Let's see what we got going on here.
Terror, violence, and some language.
Yeah, no nudity though. That was probably good. Isaac said earlier this shot took forever.
It was like a car commercial.
Yeah, it's like a car commercial, dude. So what's really cool, and we'll get into it, is they recreated the house completely from the original film. So when I say shot by shot, I mean shot by shot.
There's someone here. Hello? Sorry to disturb you. I'm staying next door.
Please, come in.
Wow, that's a really great set of clubs. Mr. Farber.
What?
You want to call someone? An ambulance? Or the police? Why are you doing this?
The game is simple.
Have a seat, please. I'm Paul.
Pick a family.
We're gonna make a bet now.
Making it
You
sound like
bet
a happy
that you'll be
family
alive
rom.
tomorrow at 9 o'clock, and we bet that you'll be dead.
Is this the music from the original trailer?
Yeah, oh yeah, this is the original trailer.
Oh my God.
Go.
Yeah.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Alright, I think that's enough of that. So that's the trailer, and it basically goes on to tell the entirety of the fucking movie up until the epic gunshot at the end. So, skipping all that, that's what we did. History with the movie. Jay, do you have any history with the movie?
Yeah, I was quite the movie snob in my late teens, and hung out with quite a few people that were already in college at the time, and so we actually watched the original Funny Games back in like 98, and we all felt very hoity for being so cultured. And then 10 years later, I got back into that scene, watched a few movies like kind of in the same vein of that kind of chaotic, kind of terroristic world. There's a French movie called Love Me If You Dare. It's a very famous movie. It came out, maybe a few years before this, but yeah, and like I said, this one again, I was like, yep, they finally did it. They made an American, like it's one of the few American movies I think really just kind of holds up, because I mean, it's literally the exact same movie.
It's the exact same movie, shot by shot. There are like minor discrepancies in the shot, but it is next to nothing. Like, it's crazy. How about you, David? What's your history with this? You ever see it before?
I like Jay, still am a movie snob. So I saw this on IFC, actually, the original, and then I watched the remake, and I completely pointless remake. It's shot for shot. I see I mean, it's like why bother? And they took it in the shorts, man. One of the movie companies that produced this totally went bankrupt because they lost so much fucking money on this thing. Yeah. So yeah, I never understood why, because I remember watching the American version and being like, is the point just because Americans are too lazy to read subtitles? Is that why we're doing this?
Damn right.
Yeah.
It was so weird how it was. I mean, it's technically amazing that it's shot by shot. But yeah, this movie is like, for me, like Requiem for a Dream. I think it's brilliant, but it's not enjoyable.
Yeah. Oh, really? Okay, we'll definitely get into that. I'm very interested in hearing your side of that.
Hot take.
Oh, yeah. All right, Isaac, you suggested this movie. You wanted to watch it. What's your history with this?
So I am not a movie snob, but I saw this movie once, probably 3 years ago. And I was literally drunk and hanging out, and somebody was like, "You ever seen this? Let's watch it." I guess they wanted to ruin my evening. But I didn't know until recently, until you told me actually, that it was a remake. I thought that was the original film. So the fact that it's a remake, I think, is astounding. But also, it's very much like Requiem for a Dream, not enjoyable to watch. You're glad when it's over.
We call this a day ruiner, is what this is. This is one of those movies you watch and you're just like, oh, wow, the dread and the terror and all that stuff just is a wonderful blend of nightmare juice, I like to call it, that just kind of ruins your day. Yeah, so what was the reason that you picked this movie specifically, though? Because I'd never seen it, so I was excited when you kind of picked it. Is it always stuck with you after that, or what is it?
Yeah, and I'm not really a fan of horror movies in particular. I thought it was an interesting...
Boo hiss.
Well, I don't know. Scared enough of what happens inside all the time. So
yes, understandably, and don't be afraid, man. We're a horror cast. We're not going to judge. Don't worry. It's horror light, but it's thriller and dread, and it's that wonderful subgenre of home. What is it? Oh, jeez.
Home invasion.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a whole subgenre of that horror movies. Yeah.
Whole subgenre of home invasion.
This could be like the granddaddy of them all, because all the ones because most of the ones came after this. Am I correct, Jay?
No, I would say Last House on the Left is the granddaddy of home invasions.
Yeah.
I stay. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And for me, Home Alone. Yes, family wise. I was thinking there was remember Full Moon Productions? They had Sunbeam Productions where they made kid friendly movies. They did a
That's
Home
funny.
Alone parody film where they had like little robots and stuff. I don't know if you ever saw that, but I was thinking about that all day today. It was weird. Anyhow, back to the movie. Let us discuss it. Let's start with David. I'm curious about this not liking it very much. What's going on with that?
It's okay. Let me give you an example. Okay, so over the weekend I watched Ouija: Origin of Terror. First time I've ever seen it.
And I think
Loved it. Yeah, loved it. Scared the shit out of me, but it was fun. It was a fun, scary movie because it's a Ouija board and it's demonic spirits and it's a girl crawling on the ceiling. It was fun, scary. This is too real. This almost felt like a snuff film, and it's uncomfortable. And the thing that makes me mad about it is that when you have an experience like this, I think you need to have a payoff where one of the good guys wins. You know, there is nobody wins, man. And I know that you find out that this is actually just a play on violence in media, and he's just watching a game and he can rewind it and it's not real. But at the same time though, it's like the director puts the audience through this ringer, but yet you don't get the payoff of getting revenge on these fucking assholes. By the way, I'm a huge fan of Michael Pitt. Love Michael Pitt. And I love Naomi Watts and the lead guy, I forget his name.
Tim Roth.
That guy. Yeah, Tim Roth. I mean, the actors are great. It's a fantastic movie. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I'm just saying I don't like it. It's not enjoyable.
I think
Sounds like it's doing its job though.
Yeah,
if you don't like it.
Agreed.
Yeah. I listen. If the director made this movie for people to enjoy, then he's fucking twisted. You know. So yeah, he definitely did his job, and he's holding up a mirror to the violence in media. But as a viewer, this is just not a fun experience.
No,
I'd be really concerned if somebody was like, "This is my favorite movie. I watch it every night before I go to bed. I gotta watch Funny Games."
I was when we watched this, I was like, "What sick motherfucking psycho picked this movie?" Because I was when you said you did, I was really worried that you'd be like, "Yeah, man, my friend, we had a party and we put this on and we all got our dicks hard, so we were like, let's jerk each other up. This movie is fucking hot." And then we just had this raging orgy because everyone was turned on. You guys like to fuck when you watch this movie? Is that no? So I'm glad that you also don't find it enjoyable.
I do think it's a really good movie.
Oh yeah,
but
no doubt.
This is the second time that I've watched it since then. So
I think that there's something to be said about the realism of it. And that's the whole time I was watching, I was like, this is realistic because people are courteous and people do. And what he says, the politeness line, I can't remember what it was, all this for the sake of politeness. People do want to be polite.
The great line.
And it has that undertone to it where, at first she's just trying to be nice. She saw him with some friends which their friendship is probably superficial. It's probably on the surface as it is. You know what I mean? And
you get that they're going from family to family.
Right. And they know that these families have no tangential connection. Like, it's all superficial politeness, and that's what it's about. And these villains are that way, too. The entire time, they're superficially polite. They live within the society where we pretend to be nice while doing terrible things. And I think that's the wonderful, not so subtle subtext of this. And I think it's real. Like, it feels real. Like, the husband is taken out with a golf club whack to the leg. That's realistic. Like, if somebody fucked up my back, I wouldn't be able to do anything. I think I would have fought a little bit harder than this motherfucker, but, whatever. At one point, he called me a pussy, so.
Also, there's an underlying, racial element to it where if these two kids were black or, thuggish looking, there's no way they get in the house. There's no way they're allowed to come in.
They're wearing gloves.
Yeah, they're wearing. And so you have these white guys who are wearing gloves and look like their friends and neighbors. They allow them right into the house.
Yep, it comes down to the richness of it. I love that scene where they're discussing their motives behind it. There's no motives behind this. They're just doing it because they're psychopaths, and this is what they want to do. But I love that entire scene where he's like, he's white trash. His mom, he sleeps with his mom. Just all these insults. And what works better, this movie doesn't work well. He keeps calling him Tubby. That guy's not fat at all. And all I could think was maybe it was like he used to call him that, or it's a psychological game that makes sense. But in the original version, the second guy, the underling to the main bad guy, he is kind of pudgy, so it makes sense he keeps calling him Tubby. But in this version, I was like, that didn't really work. Jay, how about you? What do you think about like all this, the villains and like the dread of it and all that?
I think that, first of all, this is definitely a Mormon cautionary tale where, if someone's knocking on your door, to do a mission trip, you obviously should never answer it.
Right.
And so I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Right.
Do you like how serious I got? No,
no, it made sense though.
This is clearly,
like, this
like
is
absolutely clearly a tale of no
Jehovah's Witnesses too.
But no, I think that what I really took from it is there was another movie that came out about 2 years before the remake, and it was God, don't I think it's Gus Van Sant. It's a movie called Elephant.
Oh yeah,
we just talked about Elephant the other day on the
podcast
live.
So one of the things that to kind of veer off of this movie, Elephant was a very deliberate filmmaking style in the way that the actors chosen were not actors. Were not actors. They were very green, and so he really wanted to kind of capture the essence of
the real teenager.
And it's just, so it was Gus Van Sant. But anyway, it's basically a retelling of the story of Columbine. And as someone who is, I was 18 years old, I was in high school when Columbine happened on 4/20, 1999. And there's this certain feeling, because I saw the original movie a year before Columbine happened. And so 9 years after that, 10 years after that, I watched this movie, and I see a lot of those same sensibilities and a lot of those same kind of motives from the killers of Columbine. This movie is terrifying. This movie is absolutely terrifying, and we'll get to the climax at the end, but I think that in a lot of ways, like this movie, it's gonna shake you. If you're, especially if you're in the right light, it's gonna shake you. It's gonna stick with you, and that's basically my take on it.
One of my biggest fears is not protecting my family. I have a wife and I have 2 dogs. I don't have kids, but it is a fear, the fear of the home invasion, and it's something that always freaks me out. I have a loaded gun in my house. We have cameras and alarms set up. We've never had an issue. But I just don't want to ever be in a situation like this movie.
Absolutely, and it makes you realize how easy it is by using a household object to turn the tide, and how much we trust on a polite level the people around us. And that's the thing, is the news. I know it's an allegory for the news and media and violence, but the news is polite, and it gives you terrible information in a polite, manner. And that's what it comes down to. And we as people, we act polite. We give people the best of us, or at least for the most part, we try to. I don't think any of us in this cast alone gives anyone the bad side of them. We always try to give the good side, right?
No, I fuck everybody.
All right, fuck everyone. But it's so crazy how quickly, like I saw at work the other night, there was a knife sitting on the, in the dish pit. And I was like, you know what? Some motherfucker could just pick that up and start stabbing people. And like, how crazy would that be? But we have dangerous objects around us like that all the time. And what if somebody was a psychopath and decided to use that against you? Especially whenever they come across in a polite manner, it just scares me. Isaac, I want to talk to you about like the sense of dread and horror that you got from this movie. You said you don't like horror movies so much, but this one stuck with you. What was it about that? Like when you watched it, hanging out with your friend, that were you guys just like, holy fuck, this is crazy, or what was it?
Well, this is the realism of it. Like immediately, like the man who as you're watching it and you're realizing it's getting worse and worse, you're like, oh well, Dad's about to come in and it'll be fine, and they just nerf the character immediately.
Right.
So now
what does nerf mean for the oldies in the room?
Kill, like a video game kill shot.
Yeah.
Like it's a video game
take
term.
all the power away from.
Okay, just for the
now
J
instead
in the
of having
room,
real bullets.
Okay, singled out. Okay.
Jenny McCarthy.
So from then on, like he's in this terrible situation, and they're younger and stronger than him. There's two of them, and he is broken now. And there's not really anything he can do. Like you can argue that he should have fought harder or whatever, but it would have just hastened the inevitable of the film. Which you know how it's going to end basically from when it starts, which is why I imagine the trailer gives away the entire thing.
Also, this movie, the way he dismisses his wife when they first come in, because when he first comes in and sees him, she's freaking the fuck out.
Yeah.
And he immediately takes their side.
He's like, honey, why are you being so rude to them right now?
Yeah. Honey, look at them. They're white and they're wearing gloves. Why are you so... Yeah, and it's like, dude, motherfucker. That's why, in a way, when I saw this, I was like, good. When they capped him, I was like, good, motherfucker. You didn't protect your family.
Yeah. And Isaac brought up a good point about them being younger and stronger than him. He tries to make a stand, he slaps him, and then they take him out. And I was thinking that as I was watching that too, like, these guys are like, as I get older, the more and more I think, like, man, some of these kids could fucking take me on. Like, I'm not much of a fighter anyhow, but Jesus Christ.
Also, like, coming from the perspective of, like, thinking of, like, he's an older guy and considering that, why are you going to slap them? Like, if you feel the need to take it to physical violence, make it like real violent.
Because it's polite society. That's his polite society. Pasha. You know what I mean? That's what it comes down to. Is it just reinforces this idea of that politeness, and for politeness' sake, once again, it's just weird. They live in this world where, they have to put their best foot forward all the time. So even when a stranger enters their house and things are going not well, they're still trying to be polite the entire time. And it's like I said, the villains are wonderful because they use that against them. They're so pshaw and boarding school and all that stuff. And it's just great to see. I want to talk about the fourth wall breaking. The first time it happens is whenever she's going to find the dog and he's playing the hot cold game. And I thought the games were going to ramp up like that. I was kind of okay with the fact that they didn't. I thought they were going to start with a small game and then ramp it up. They kind of do, but not, it's never like illuminated so much. But like he turned and he looked at the camera and he looked away. And I was like, did he just break the fourth wall? What the fuck just happened? And that was shocking. And me and Jay were kind of talking about that the other day. This movie is known for that, right? Isn't that kind of like what it makes it?
Well, once you see it, you can't unsee it. You can only, you only get the genie out of the lamp once. So anyone who saw the original will be like, okay, yeah, this isn't shocking at all.
Right.
And
in the original, he turns to the camera and he winks. In the original, he doesn't do that in this version, but in the original, he did. But yeah. It's fucking crazy though. And when they're having the conversation about making the bet, and he turns to the screen and he's like, I bet you're on their side, aren't you? You want them to win, don't you? Well, we'll see how it fucking goes. And that's when I was like, holy shit, he did look at the camera. And I was like, that's so fucking cool. How did you guys feel whenever that happened?
I mean, yeah, it's one of those things where like I said, you then realize this isn't real, but it doesn't make it less horrifying, and it doesn't make it less frustrating. Knowing that he rewinds it and okay, this isn't real. You still just, as a viewer, you want revenge because you hate these kids so much, and the family is so likable, except for the dad who's a pussy. But the family and I mean, it's just such a. You look at that perfect Naomi Watts ass, and you're like, don't ruin that.
I agree with you 100% on that. It makes you complicit too, and like you're watching something that's terrible. As I watched it, the dread was filling me so much I had to occupy myself with like texting and shit like that because it was so nerve-wracking for me watching it, and like I was nervous as it was going through, and I was just like, I can't look at the screen right now. And what's wonderful is the violence is there, but it's never seen. They do the wonderful thing of where the violence is kept to a minimum. Even whenever they have the undressing scene, you don't see like the nudity or anything like that. You see just the minimum, and it's the horror on her face that really sells that moment. And I think that it's what you don't see is more terrifying, especially when it comes to the gunshot and it takes out the kid. This movie kills a fucking kid. How did you guys feel? Yeah, the dog too. Isaac,
Well,
you're
it's just
muted.
it's one of those things we always talk about. Like
Muted.
in cinema, you're never supposed to harm animals or children. And this movie was like, what? Really? Okay.
How
Boom.
did the dog look so fucking real as it flopped out of the truck?
When it plopped out, dude, and it rolled, I thought the same thing. That thing looked fucking real. Even in the original, it looked really real too. How did they do that?
They used real dogs.
Oh,
God,
God, those bastards. How about you, Isaac? When whenever they killed the kid, all three of you guys, in that moment, did you expect that to happen and be so visceral?
I knew that it was going to happen when I watched it again, and I still convinced myself the second time that it was the dad that was dead.
Yeah.
I knew that it wasn't, and still I was just like, "There's no, they're not doing that."
Yeah. I mean, it goes against, like David said, the horror movie, or in movies in general, you don't attack children, you don't attack the elderly, and you don't attack animals. You know what I mean? This movie does two of the three.
Well, I mean, and it's why they can't be surprised that they spent $15 million on this movie and didn't make any money back.
Oh, yeah.
It is not enjoyable. It breaks all the rules. This is not a fun movie. This isn't a movie you go see and you tell your friends at work around the water cooler, "Hey, Jim, how about that Cowboys game? Yeah, my wife and I just saw this movie called Funny Games. They kill a dog and a child. You should go check it out, man."
Unless
by the way,
spoiler
alert. Spoiler alert, the psychopaths get away with it, man. You should go check it out. It's a lot of fun.
And like I said, unless you're freaks like us, this is what we talk about all the time. It's fucking great.
Dude, this is not a movie I recommend to people. I do not recommend. Sorry, I don't mean to. Yeah, sorry about that.
Spoilers.
Jumping the gun.
Yeah, Jay, what were you gonna say?
Oh, nothing. Yeah, the kid dying. Yeah, man, that's like most of the time, like when a movie does that, or like any horror movie does that, when they kill a kid, it's not like I'm not happy it happens, but it definitely lets me know that said movie is not fucking around. I can respect the choice. Well, I mean, we're gonna be talking about
Quiet Place.
Well, we're gonna talk about Children of the Corn in a couple of months, and I mean, if you don't like children getting killed, stay the fuck away from that one. But
well, I mean, Quiet Place, man, the balls on that movie to fucking, and also Quiet Place to even put it in their trailer. They're just like, "Hey, everyone, this is what's gonna happen. This kid's gonna fucking die right off the bat."
Krasinski wasn't fucking around. He's like, "We're putting this shit out."
Not fucking around.
It's become a very. I'm not saying it's become regular, but it's become a lot more regular in the past 20 years. It's a plot device.
They definitely
what does that say about our society?
We're bored. That's exactly what it says.
Yep. It takes a lot to push us.
I think that the American version did a little bit classier. They hid the exploded head of the child behind the TV stand. The original does not do that. They full-on show the exploded head of the child. I was like, holy fuck, that is insane that they put that out there. How about the remote scene? Breaking the fourth wall once again. Whenever they're doing the prayer scene and he does the small prayer and he's having her repeat it and he pulls up her hands and really up there, and like Naomi Watts is fucking killing it in this movie, like always.
She's so good.
And a goddess, mind you. Top 10, 100%. I think she's beautiful. But just acting her ass off in this movie. And like she sees that gun and she grabs it and she pulls it up and she blows Tubby away. I literally went, yeah! I screamed at the TV. Like I was so excited. How about you guys? Were you for that one moment of victory? How did you guys feel about that?
Well, like when I watched the original, it was like a relief. And then when he rewound it, I was like, God damn it.
Yeah, 100%. And the rewinding, what did you say about the rewinding, Jay? You said that was like what this movie is most known for, correct?
Well, no, I mean that's like it's definitely like it's that point of no return where you're like, fuck yeah, and then it goes, yeah, whatever. We've got this. We have control.
He's in
the director's once more saying, fuck you.
Yeah, I felt abused watching this movie. Okay, can I be just upfront with you guys, okay?
Sure.
Please don't hate me. I went to watch this today and I got up to the scene where they hit the father and I was like, nope, I'm out.
Oh, yeah?
Stop. Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it again. I felt like I was in an abusive relationship with my ex-girlfriend, the stripper, and she came over and we were about to fuck, and then I remembered everything bad about her. And so
it triggered you.
Oh yeah, big time.
Big time.
It was such an uncomfortable experience. I didn't want to go through it again.
Right. No, that makes sense because, like you said, this feels like an abusive relationship in a lot of ways. Uh, and like I said, it's all hidden underneath the guise of politeness. You know what I mean? That's what's so weird. And that's what narcissists and manipulators can do is they can be charming and superficial. I mean, the lead character in this, the lead villain, I should say, he's a pure narcissist. And on top of that, the dude's like a model. He looks like Gabriel the angel, what you would think that would look like, and like he's everything that you would associate with a, you know, an angelic figure, and he ends up being a demon. It's so fucking weird. He's Luciferic in some way. I apologize.
Well, I always was amazed that Michael Pitts didn't have a bigger career. I always thought that he should have been bigger.
Was he in The Purge?
No.
No, I thought he was the one who shut up the door. Yeah,
He was
He was on Boardwalk Empire for a very
so
long
good.
time.
Oh my God, that first season. You talk about a fucked up. That storyline with him and his mom. That first season was so fucked up. He was the only thing good about the Ghost in the Shell movie. He was great in that. Also, Bully. Did you guys ever see Bully?
Mm-mm.
He was
The
in Bully.
Tom Arnold, Rick Moranis movie?
No, the really dark, based on a true story movie. Also,
No, he wasn't. He played a
yeah,
small
he
part.
was.
He played a small part. Yeah, a small part. Yeah.
And then he was amazing in a Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
Yeah.
Really good in that.
And then I think his tour de force was in Hannibal when he played Mason Berger.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I don't fucking remember. I don't think I ever saw Hannibal.
Oh man,
dude,
it's
Hannibal's
so,
so up your
Good.
fucking alley, David.
Wait a minute,
yeah.
the TV series? The TV
Yeah,
series?
TV series.
Oh, yeah.
I started watching it and I really do enjoy it. I one of those things where it got away from me, but I'm gonna go back because I really
Dude.
I've seen 2 episodes so far and it's fucking great. I love it.
It's my girlfriend's favorite show, and she hates horror stuff. Like she can't watch any of it. She loves Hannibal. That is like her favorite TV show, hands down.
And then also I heard he was actually campaigning to play the Riddler at one point.
Oh wow,
Oh, that
that would have
would've
been cool.
Yeah, he's killer in this movie. He's really good.
Literally.
Like I said. Yeah. For you, David and Jay, who've watched the remake over this original, which one do you guys prefer? Which out of the
Original, hands down.
I mean,
original.
it's if the second one doesn't do anything different.
Yeah. Like I said, it's pointless.
Well, I mean, like it is and it isn't. I mean, like, yeah, if it made money, would it be pointless? I mean, that's the question you got to ask.
It put a company out of business. So it
Sure
is
did,
pointless.
absolutely. Of all the movies to remake, like I can only imagine the emotions because I guarantee he wasn't the only person from that original production that he brought back on. That must have been a scary fucking rehash of a nightmare you thought you were over 10 years earlier.
Well,
that's an experience. I'd love to see the documentary on that, like remaking.
Yeah. Well, Tim Roth has never seen it because the actor who played his son looks just like his son, and it traumatized him so much he has never seen the movie.
The other thing is, like I said, they rebuilt the house. It looks exactly like it did in the original movie. So, shot for shot, they literally did that the best they could. And he initially wanted to make this as an American film, but he couldn't get the financing, so that's why he did it as an Austrian film. So this is like the movie he wanted to make, and he got to make it twice. So I think that's pretty cool.
Well, it's so weird to me that an American studio would look at this movie, and because also you got to remember too, when this movie came out, Naomi Watts, she was like she was a star. Yeah. She was a star. And I mean, it just blows my mind that somebody saw this movie and was like, man, American audience was really dig this. Yeah. You know, it's just not an American movie.
Well,
this has got German written all over it.
Well,
this is fucking German.
You know what? I might have to disagree with you, Dave. This movie came out during the absolute height of the Saw movies. I think this movie in American lexicon during 2007, I think they thought that this was exactly what people wanted, at least at this time. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Also Saw and also the Hostel movies, I think were
Hostel just came out about a year and a half early. That's another great example.
But it's such a
Hostel is the reason that I don't watch horror movies.
Torture porn ruined it for you.
Yeah. I was like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah, but in those movies, well, I don't know about Saw. I never really got into Saw, but at least in Hostel, the bad guys lose at the end. You know, at least there's some kind of like, the good guys winning.
They convert the good guys to the bad guys. I do kind of like Hostel. I like Saw movies up to a point. But I like the idea that turned you off of horror movies, Isaac. What was it about it that made you?
Oh, just the torture porn stuff. It was so graphic. It's one of the reasons that I can watch funny games is that all the really bad shit is off camera.
Yeah.
If it's terrible horror where it just looks shitty, I can be like, haha, whatever. But the hyper realism of the torture porn stuff, it really, really bothers me.
Right. Yeah. With the Saw movies, it gets to me too. Sometimes I think about going back and marathoning them, but like towards the end, it's just brutal, brutal, brutal. I want to ask you guys this: how far do you think they get? Do you think that this is some scenario where they can just keep killing families after family because he's in control, and that's the idea? Or do you think?
Oh yeah, it's a game. It's a game, and when he loses control, he just rewinds it. So yeah, they just keep on going. I always looked at this as like a video game, that these kids were playing a video game.
I was going to propose it as their own personal heaven or purgatory or hell, where they have total control of the scenario. Maybe that's what's going on. Go ahead, Jay. What were you going to say?
No, I mean, like we covered brain scan. It's almost like if he completely gave into the game. And I mean, I think that actually takes away from the scares a little bit. It's just my own personal opinion, just because it's like, okay, so it's a game. If those two scenes aren't in there, or it does make it a little more. But like at the end when he basically goes, maybe we'll come see you next. It's like, it's one of those things where, it's very. I think they actually do that too in their own messed up way. I think that is there to actually comfort you as a viewer. It's the smallest. It's literally the least amount of effort possible, because I do agree with Dave. You do want to see them get it. You do want to see them die. You do want to see them get their comeuppance. But then it's like, hey man, it's like we're just watching a movie. It's gonna be okay.
I like that. I didn't even think about that when he looks at the camera at the end. He's like, "We're coming to you next." Like I never even thought about that.
Hey guys, since I didn't watch this because it traumatized me so much, is there ever any night scenes in this? I can't remember.
Night scenes, you said?
Night at night. Is it all in the daytime?
Like half the movie.
Nighttime.
Oh, half the movie.
Because they show up in the evening, and then it's like you gotta
Gotcha.
last 12 hours.
Oh,
I bet you won't last.
Gotcha.
That's the game.
Yeah, and then like I like how Jay was saying it's kind of a cautionary tale. Like you said, are you next? And like David said, that triggered him. Like it's something he's concerned about constantly. It is pretty scary. Do you think that it changes the movie if they don't break the fourth wall, or do you think it works the same way?
I mean, it still is frustrating because they don't get away with it. But like what Jay said, it takes the edge off if you know it's fake.
Yeah, maybe.
But the whole point of this was the guy was making an allegory about violence in media, so that's why he put that in there. Also, was to like, hey, this is like a video game. Hey, this is like a movie. Hey, this is like the news. So that's
very much like
kind of why he put that in there as well.
The last thing I want to talk about is, like you said, the ending where no one wins. Ciao, Bella, wherever he knocks her over into the river, and they just go on talking like they were talking the whole time. And they've been doing that the entire movie, where they're kind of disinterested in their victims, which is even more unsettling. It could have been anyone. It just happened to be their house that they go into. At the end of it, like, how do we feel about this movie as a whole? It really comes down to that, what these killers stand for. I don't know what they stand for, other than just pure violence and psychopaths and like Jay made the connection to Columbine, Eric and Dylan. What do they stand for at the end of the day? I don't know. And I guess that's why it's so unsettling. How do you guys feel about the end of the movie?
I was glad it was over. I was like, well, this nightmare is done. And that's what was weird. I don't know why I think I watched the remake because of Naomi Watts. I think I was like, oh, this is going to be uncomfortable. I do like her. And also I knew how it would end, so I was preparing myself. But man, today it was just rough.
Yeah.
This is just like I said, man. I think it's a brilliant movie. I really do. But I think for me, it's so unenjoyable.
It's a day ruiner. I was happy I had improv classes after it, because I was just like, yay, it's great. Maybe that's why I was so tired the other night, Jay. I was like, I'm so tired. Maybe this movie took it out of me. How about you, Isaac? How do you feel about the ending of this movie?
I mean, the ending is the worst part. because you think that you're gonna get some relief the whole time. Like, again, this is only my second time seeing it. I've never seen the original, so I still almost expected like, maybe I forgot the part where it doesn't end quite so terribly. It reminds me of a movie that I saw that was loosely based on Casey Anthony, I think, called Baby Blues, where basically the dad's a truck driver and the mom is losing her mind and thinks he's cheating on her and decides to kill all the kids. And the oldest one, it's like a night in hell where he's being chased by her through the farmhouse. And basically at the end of the movie, you think he's gotten away and dad's like, oh no, she's coming home. She cares about us. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding? Like, nothing from this?
Nothing.
But stories like that tend to stick with me.
But that's what these characters, these villains, what do they get from that? Nothing. They've gotten this is just another family. They're just moving on. There's no lesson to be learned here.
They're leveling up.
100%. On to the next one. Jay, how do you feel about the ending of this movie? I feel like this is a depressing cast. I'm sorry, guys.
Well, I mean, it's a depressing movie. You know, let's be real. I know I brought this up before, but you know, this is a horror podcast. Mm-hmm. And one of the things about being a horror podcast is that we're not supposed to enjoy all these movies. If we did, we wouldn't even. I think if we did enjoy all these movies, we wouldn't enjoy all these movies. If that makes sense. It's just like in life, you got to find things that kind of piss you off a little bit. There's movies every now and then where you go, no, that's not how it's supposed to end. I think another movie I would compare to this would be Arlington Road, with Jeff Bridges and oh God, Mr. Susan Sarandon. What's his guy? Tim.
What, is that movie about a bomber?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
I remember
at
that.
the end of the movie, the bomber wins. The hero dies, and the bomber keeps on bombing. And that also came out around the turn of the century too. So it's just these movies that don't give you all the things you want. It's
interesting because
you
say that, and it's like I really, really, really did not enjoy this movie. But another movie that has one of the most depressing endings of all time, I absolutely love, and that's Seven. And I think it's because in that world, I don't see myself in that world. Right. I can see myself in funny games. I can see myself, me and Lindsay being at home and someone doing a home invasion. I think that's the difference, is I can watch Seven and enjoy it as a escapism, even though the ending is brutal. Basically the bad guy gets away with it in that one. He completes his mission.
But he still dies.
He still dies, but he wants to die though. That's the thing. It's not like he didn't want to die. He wanted David to kill him. So he wins in getting what he wants. Even Somerset tells him, if you shoot him, he wins. So, but in that movie, it's more of escapism because I don't see myself ever being in a situation where I'm living in a weird city where all these weird murders are happening. By the way, I think I came to a realization that at some point in my life, I have committed at least one deadly sin at some point in my life, and some at the same time.
Yes,
so.
I have too. I was going to say what I like about this is the bad guy is so manipulative. He is literally manipulating the audience as the movie goes along. And I think that's really cool with breaking the fourth wall and everything, like how he's saying, like, you know, do you think they're going to win? Are you betting on them? And then whenever he says later, like, do you want a good story with a protagonist who's victorious or whatever he says? And he's just like, that's maybe not what you're going to get. And that's what we don't get, you know? And
he's definitely torturing the audience for sure.
It's crazy. It's such a cool concept. Guys, is there anything else about the movie that you want to talk about? Or are we ready to move on? All right.
I'm still curious as to why that kid took off his pants when he was hiding from him.
Because he shit his pants.
I get the boots. Why'd he take off his pants?
He shit his pants. Do you remember?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm sorry I brought this up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Point, counterpoint.
Yes. Done. All right. Anything else about the movie? Anything at all?
Now, Naomi Watts has an amazing ass. I guess that's
Naomi Watts
not within the context of this movie, but yes, she does. All right, recommend. Jay, do you recommend the movie? Original versus remake too. You can recommend.
Either one. I mean, they're just if you think that you can handle the subject material, then yeah, go for it.
All right.
That's what I'd say.
David, do you recommend it?
No, I don't want to have anyone in my life that I would think would enjoy this movie. So no, I don't want to recommend this, because I think to recommend it to somebody, they would have to enjoy it, and if they enjoyed it, they would scare the fuck out of me. And it takes a lot to scare me. I have mannequins in my house.
Isaac, do you recommend the movie?
I would recommend it to somebody that I liked but didn't want to have a good evening. Like, you've been talking a little shit. Like, I'm not too mad. We can still be friends. But like, check this out this evening, buddy.
Oh my God.
100%. I recommend it. David, I'm going to scare you. I liked it.
Oh my
I'm
God.
so sorry. I thought it was a good movie. It's not something you see every day.
It's a great movie. Like I said, it's a great movie. It's just not enjoyable for me.
Oh,
Psycho.
no. It's pure. Yes, thank you. Pure. Let me turn to the camera and say it. Thank you. Pure dread. Pure. Just pure nightmare fuel. And like I said, just because it's so real and visceral, and like it takes so little to take, the dad out. It's a golf club swing. That's real. That is real. The fact that he can't do anything and he can't. Oh God, it's just so fucking real. Anyhow, with that said, I recommend it. Let us move on to clips. Dave, are you going to be able to handle these?
Yeah, I have a safe space. I'll go to it if I need to.
All right, let's get to some clips. They're short clips, so don't worry. All right, moving on from that. All right.
Naomi Watts was 39 when they made this.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
She's amazing.
She's just a little bit older than you, right, Dave?
Yep. Objectifying her. I'm sorry. Please don't cancel me. Oh wait, I don't do anything.
Have you been to the We Are Podcast Network before? Ducks Kinda Music.
Oh, this was funny. I like this. As an audience member, you're like, what the fuck is gonna happen? Can you imagine not knowing what this movie was about and just seeing the actors and being like, oh, this looks fun?
I had no idea what it was about. I was pumped when they did this. I was like, fuck yeah, that's cool. Ducks Kinda Music again, evidently, because the thing's cool.
I'll come over.
It's just, the nerve-wrackingness of the neighbors.
In 20 minutes.
Okay, great. See you then.
Bye.
It's weird. She didn't say a word.
Eggs. This fucking scene is intense too, and we forgot to mention the long shots. This movie takes its time in a good way. Spawn of the Slithis in a bad way. This movie holds on stuff, holds on the moment, is able to allow long shots. I think the longest shot in this movie is like 12 minutes long. It's insane how they hold on to stuff.
How can I help you?
Mrs. Thompson sent me. She's cooking and she ran out of eggs and asked if you could help her out. Okay, no problem. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
Oh, please
He's
say hello to
not fat
Rafe.
at all.
Tell her we're looking forward to the game tomorrow.
I'll tell her. Thanks again.
And thanks to Fred and your friends for helping us. What happened? It's not a disaster.
That was one of the things I thought was weird. The dialogue in this was a little bit weird. I was like, it's not a disaster. Who says that? All right. It begins.
You better be careful, old man, or I'll break your eggs.
Now, please leave. Right now.
Mr. Farber.
What?
Oh! Brutal.
Is it broken?
And then that kindness afterwards, is it broken? I can fix it up if you want me to. It's just so fucking creepy. All right, breaking the fourth wall.
Warmer. There it is. Cold.
And at first I was like, I kind of looked past that. I was going to rewind it, but I decided not to. So, the next victims.
It's supposed to be windy. For tomorrow, I just
Where's
told
your
Robert
dog?
we're probably gonna get stuck. Excuse me?
Your dog.
Oh, it's just around the peninsula, but on the other side.
The old cottage with the red dog?
Right.
It's very beautiful.
Well, thank you. We enjoy it.
Brutal. You do not want to see this. It is a brutal.
Here.
This is where you stopped, right, David?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. So you don't have to. We can skip it if you want.
What's this now? What happened to you?
It's just.
What, didn't we just agree that...
We'll skip it. Move on to the next.
What the fuck?
I don't want to trigger David more. White trash.
Truth is, he's fucking her. Sad, but
Do you think there's any truth behind this story that he's telling?
Yes.
You think so? Because, like
I
I said,
don't.
you don't think? You think it's all play? Those
Yeah, I
sometimes
mean,
don't
the
make-
whole thing immediately after he's like, "Oh, and we're drug addicts. We're both drug addicts." Like he's so convincing all the time, but when he's doing this, it sounds like bullshit.
Right.
Like he's doing bad acting on purpose.
Yeah, and then like I said, just making up an excuse. And I like when the father just turns to the camera and he's like, I get it.
Oh, come on. Calm down now, Tubby. Stop it. You're disgusting.
This was awesome. Why was it awesome? What happened?
It's not an option.
Oh yeah,
There has to be a bet.
breaking the fourth wall.
I mean, what do you think? You think they stand a chance? You're on their side, aren't you? Who are you betting on,
But wait, what kind of bet is this?
I kind of like how the other characters ignore that too completely. I thought that was pretty cool. Cat in the bag. This is pretty intense. Violence against
This
children.
is an
Never
awesome
good.
game. It's called Cat in a Bag. It's really fun. Here we go. Don't panic. Nothing's going to happen. I said it was a fun game. It's a family game. Hey, Daddy can play too so he doesn't get bored.
I'd be interested to know, do you think it's more or less monstrous that they covered up the kid's face as they did that?
Oh, that's a good point. I think either way, it's just terrible. Really, the whole thing is just terrible. I don't know. And then, like I said, I like with that scene too. They never show the nudity, but they show her reaction to the nudity, which is enough. Like it's just so dehumanizing that it's terrible.
And lingering on the kid's face in the bag.
Yeah, well, they pull it really tight too. I was hoping for a while that like they use like a mannequin or something like that because I was like, I hope they didn't hurt this kid. They wouldn't have this music in their house. This is dumb. There is no way they would. This is the other house.
I'm gonna play a little music for us.
They wouldn't have that. That's stupid. Georgie's got a gun.
Pull the trigger.
Man, he's
so
got
bad.
dick sucking lips. Not him. Michael Pitt.
Oh, damn.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
Oh,
Damn,
Clarify.
I didn't realize it was.
Yeah, there we go.
podcast.
There we go.
NASCAR sucks. Oh, I forgot to mention this. This scene's so intense because in the background you have the monotone droning of the NASCAR announcers and the cars going. That's what makes it so fucking intense.
So who do you want to start with? With her? Good. Now I'll get something to eat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
It's intense.
You're an idiot, Tubby. When you're counting, you don't kill the person who's counted out. You kill the one left over. What's wrong with you?
He tried to run away.
Guess so what? That's no reason to get trigger happy. Don't you have any sense of timing?
Can you imagine being Juan Matoye, the driver, and being like, what the fuck?
Why?
Why the hell am I in this movie?
How did
Why do I
this
got
happen?
kids' brains all over my picture?
So that scene where she's struggling to get up, there is no way she didn't hurt herself during that.
Oh yeah.
There's a
Well,
couple
she
of
was
knocks
dedicated.
where I was just like, oh shit.
Yeah, she was dedicated. Like I said, she kills it in every movie she's in. Funny
So,
games.
The name of the game is The Loving Wife. Now, although Beavis has already finished counting, Anne can decide who's up next and with which device. Hello? Wake up! What, you're not interested? You don't want to play anymore? Beavis, show her how the game is played. Wait, here. Watch out.
I almost cut myself.
Really?
So intense. Just watching it back right now. Right here. She kills it.
Come on, sit down.
That had to have been improvised. Had to have been. Was that in the original? Do you guys remember?
A little knife.
I don't remember.
Don't remember?
I couldn't die.
Oh, I apologize. Everyone's so bummed out. I'm so sorry,
Tubby,
guys.
tell her one. Stop calling me Tubby all the time.
Call me Unibrow, okay? I'm Unibrow.
I
I'm
noticed
Tubby.
that too. I was like, what the fuck?
Shave that fucking thing, man. What are you, a Gallagher brother in Oasis? You're the bass player for Oasis?
Oasis is a 90s pop band.
Short. I don't know any of
With
big fucking eyebrows.
Fuck
And
yeah,
big
this part
dreams.
was awesome. Everyone get a little relief
Whether
right
it's
now.
the fast and almost painless big gun, or the slow, drawn out.
Boom, baby. Yes! The remote scene. Almost immediately after that one. Not sure why I kind of said it.
Where's
Notice he doesn't hit rewind on the remote, too.
fucking remote
Yeah.
control?
He hits the volume down, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Rewind right underneath it. Oh, don't take it back. Oh, lame. Lame. So lame. All right, we're skipping to the end. There it is. This will be the last one we have to deal with, y'all. Ciao, Bella.
Ciao, Bella.
Boom.
Why? The deadline was 9, shit. Almost another hour.
Well, it's too difficult to say I like this. First of all. Second of all, I'm getting kind of hungry. It's true.
Oh, that's so nerve-wracking. Just the way he's just like, I'm getting kind of hungry, like it's fucking nothing. So, with that said, we made it through Clip's downer of a movie. Still appreciate the recommendation, Isaac. I'm going to recommend a couple movies here real quick and see if you guys agree. The first one will be a movie called Cheap Thrills. This came out a couple years ago. It is awesome. It has what's his name? The guy from Anchorman who plays the weather guy. What is his name? Or the sports guy, Champ. I cannot think of his name.
David Kirshner.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. This movie is fucking awesome. I watched it over at Jake's house. We had a blast. It's about this guy right here, David Kirshner's character, who has tons of money, and he sets up dares throughout the night for two friends that haven't seen each other since high school. The two characters right there that you saw. And everything elevates and elevates and elevates and elevates. It's hilarious. It's scary. It's just downright good movie. Highly suggested. Check it out. Lots of ass in this trailer too. Jesus Christ. Cheap Thrills. Awesome movie. 100% so good. Next one.
Stone Cold's in it too.
Next movie I'm going to recommend is The Purge. Of course, everyone's seen The Purge, right? The first one. Classic modern horror film about home invasion. Totally scary. Love everything about it. The premise is so good. It's had 5 sequels now, I think. We just had another one come out. But the original is the one that holds up the most, I feel. And it's just a great movie. Plus, I love the creepy little robot the kid has in the movie. I figured, David, you'd be on board with that. Have you seen it?
I love the first Purge.
Yeah. Other than that, a little bit played out now. Some of the sequels did some interesting stuff, but for the most part, that's where we're at. Admit you fucking fuck. Javi wants him to join us for the end of the cast. So he is coming in right now. Boom, boom, boom. With that said, do you guys have any recommendations?
Yes, as uncomfortable home invasion type movies. Have you guys ever seen Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer?
Watched it a month ago.
Michael Rooker, is that right?
Yeah.
You talk about real. That's a legit real movie.
Yeah, that feels like a fucking straight up snuff film.
Yeah. Javi, you came into the cast. If you can feel the heavy vibes of the movie that we watched weighing
All right, here's what's going to happen. I don't know this new guy. I'm pretty sure he has some valid points. But for Jay and David, they were all wrong. They were wrong on all their criticism of this movie. This movie was great. I'm sure these two snobs hated it. So fuck them and fuck you, Bobby Frisky, for showing me Small and Swiftest. I never want to see that movie again. Awful.
No,
Never-
listen, no. I never said the movie. I was very adamant in saying I think this movie is genius. It's just not enjoyable.
It's downright aggravating. Like, this is more infuriating than fucking Clockwork Orange. Like, just when I thought that motherfucker finally got, I stood up and cheered when I saw that fucker get it with the shotgun. And then fucking Michael Pitt, the fucking asshole. I'm glad he got divorced from that actress just because of this movie. Like, he takes the remote and he rewinds it, and then he stops it. Like, what the fuck? Fuck you. But it's such a good movie.
It's a great movie, but it's not fun, man. This isn't fun. This is not fun.
It's a day ruiner, is what it is.
Yeah.
Javi came up with.
Welcome to the hour and a half conversation, Javi.
You know what?
Hey, Javi, who would win a fight between the Splithis and Biohunter?
You know what? I gotta hate them both equally. I want to go with the Biohunter.
Yeah.
Because the Slith is just a decrepit old man in a fish suit. That's all it is.
At least the Biohunter got decapitated and all the other shit that goes with it. The Slithis got an anchor to the chest. That was it.
That's all it is. An awful scream.
So this movie is in the list of movies that you should not have watched during the pandemic. When we were all sitting at home and depressed, it was this, The Road, Requiem for a Dream, like movies to avoid during the pandemic.
Yeah, it's a good day for you. If you know if it's the pandemic and you're gonna unalive yourself, watch The Road, follow it up with this one, and then anything else, and then go out right then and there. Like, okay, life cannot get any worse than this right now.
Yep.
Javi, we'll give you a quick recommend, yes or no?
Recommend this movie? Absolutely, but ever watch it only one time in your life. If you watch this movie for fun because you think it's a good movie, I think you're a serial killer. You should probably be committed somewhere.
Yep.
All right, recommendations. We're doing recommendations. Anyone else have recommendations for home invasion movies or anything along the genre?
Yeah, I got a couple. One is The Strangers.
So good.
Yeah, that's definitely up there. It's got an ending very similar to this, spoiler, but they actually have a sequel to that one as well. So yeah, The Strangers would be pretty good. Also, if you like a movie about games, is that movie I mentioned to y'all earlier? It's called Love Me If You Dare. It's a French movie, and the idea behind it is that these two childhood friends, they have this carousel. It's a toy carousel.
I've seen this.
And as they get older, they pass the carousel to each other. And the reason it's called Love Me If You Dare is because whoever gets handed the carousel has to do the dare. And this goes throughout their entire life. It is one of the greatest French movies I've ever seen. So I'd highly recommend it. And it's got a little bit of that terror involved in it, too.
Nice. Isaac, you got any other recommendations for horror or home invasion? I know you don't really do horror, so it's anything?
Just real quick before I forget, I didn't mean to cut you off. What's the French invasion movie where the lady has the chainsaw type of thing?
High Tension.
Yes. Who the fuck said Amelie?
I do. You got a problem with Amelie? Amelie's amazing.
No, I love Amelie. Go ahead, Isaac. I'm sorry.
I mean, the only thing I can think of, it's not a horror movie per se, but Kids reminds me of it in just the way that it's
Kids is
it
good.
starts and
Larry Clark.
fine. It's gonna be fine, and now it's just worse, and it's worse. Oh, and it's worse, and now it's over.
Yeah.
Oh well, why don't we slap on Gummo while we're at it, motherfucker?
And let's finish that off with Bully. I mean, if we're gonna be going on our clock, let's go the whole.
Let's go all out. Let's go all out.
We mentioned Bully earlier because of Michael Pitt.
That's right. Dude, Bully was so fucking good.
Javi, you got a home.
That's a
invasion
Dallas
movie?
actor. The Dallas actor's in that.
Yeah, I got a great recommendation for home invasion. It's called Home Alone.
Yeah.
That is one of the
we
greatest
made that joke.
home
You
invasion.
missed it.
Yeah,
I missed it.
You were like 30 minutes behind. You were 30 minutes behind.
All right,
Ball.
home invasion movie. I do like Last House on the Left.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Already. Yeah, we already
Damn,
got it.
fuck.
You are the Langolier of this podcast, Bobby. You are chopping up the past as we speak. I'm not trying to offend. But if you listen back, you will be like, yeah, and here's another thing. And you'll be like, well, this sucked. Well, you should have just joined us.
Yeah.
I just finished early. Shit.
You just outed yourself, motherfucker. That's funny.
I don't care. I got a hair trigger.
Yeah, did she look you in the eyes? Is what happened?
She looked me in the eye and I was like, I'm sorry, game was over.
All right, let's go to where we can find us on the internet. We're going to start with Jay right now because Jay's got some internet stuff going on. Where can they find you, Jay?
You can find me at facebook.com/EgoPhoenix for the 7th annual Ego Phoenix Fearcast. It's the world tour. This is a very interesting choice to do this year. I use a random country generator populated by Giga Calculator, and every day I get a new country. I've already gotten Guinea-Bissau, which was a lot of fun, and I got to talk about a movie called Saloum, which is basically they call it an African version of From Dusk Till Dawn. It just came out. I can't wait to see it. I got to find it. Today I got Gabon, and I'm exploring some of the folklore. I mean, there's so many countries in Africa, so it's probably gonna hit a few here and there. So that's what I got going on.
Very cool. David, how about you? Where can they find you? State Fair, right?
Yes, I'll be at the State Fair of Texas. It's Friday at 8:30 for Deep Fried Comedy. And then you can find me on Facebook at Stop Motion Nightmares and Children of Dave on Instagram. I just sold a shit ton of art last night. So thank you,
Nice.
all the weirdos that came out to the burlesque show and bought all my weird, creepy shit, which
Nice.
means I got to make more creepy shit.
Very cool. Javi, Isaac, you guys got anything you want to pimp? Javi's been painting live on Facebook and Instagram.
I have.
Really good
And-
stuff, Hobby. Really
Thank you, I
good stuff,
appreciate
man.
it. And also, if you do have a Brinks Home security account, feel free to call the customer service number and ask for Javi, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you about whatever. I'm just not gonna. Yeah, you can find me at
How
Brinks Home
did
Security.
Brinks not sponsor this fucking movie? They missed a huge opportunity.
You're right. This movie is one big infomercial for security systems.
That's why
I'll take
Javi
your
popped
systems, guns, ammo.
That's why Javi popped in at the end, just to bring the bricks.
You got quotas to
This
make,
man-
Hobby.
Oh my god.
You got quotas, bud.
Nerd. Like I
Thank
do
you.
got quotas.
Good catch. You made me laugh so hard. I lost my butt there. Isaac, you got anything to pimp?
I'm on Facebook at Isaac Doggett, and I cook food on TikTok occasionally at This Food Fucks.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. And finally, you can find us at wearepodcast.podbean.com, where you can find all the podcasts. We Are Air, We Are Bagu, Camp / Horrorcast, and there's another one in there. Oh, I Hate Being Sober. I've been doing a couple of those. Check out our social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at / We Are Podcast for the Wappin' reviews, where I review video games and stuff of that sort. And finally, you can find us every Monday for Camp / Horrorcast, where we talk horror movies from the past at 8 p.m. Central Time. Next week will be The Faculty. I cannot wait. We're going to have Diego Rangel on this show for The Faculty. It's going to be awesome. Such a great movie. Robert Rodriguez, Elijah Woods, just killing it. Also, that super hot
CGI
chick.
doesn't hold up too well.
Oh, I haven't seen it in like 12 years, dude. I can't wait. John
Does not
Stewart.
hold up too well.
So, with
Yeah,
that
John
said,
Stewart was in that.
John Stewart's in that. With that said, keep horror in your heart. Isaac, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for
Yeah, thanks,
the movie.
Isaac, for choosing this film.
Thanks
Thanks a lot.
for ruining David's day.
I'm sorry, everybody.
No, dude, it's cool. It's cool. It was better than
Yeah.
Spawn of the Slithers. That's all I have to say.
Yeah,
Bobby, we
yeah,
love you.
Yeah,
Bobby, we love you.
that bar is set pretty fucking low, bro.
All right, guys, keep horror in your heart. With that said, I'm going to cut the feeds if I can remember how to do it.